Hello, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I am Father Christmas, as you described me a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Speaking to the nation.
Yeah, you're like, you know what you are? You're like Bing Crosby, who we later found out beat his children.
Thank you. Very nice. Bing, may he rest in peace.
Yes.
Maybe he should have been nicknamed Bang.
Bang Crosby. Bang Crosby.
Right. Anyway.
Yes.
I would like to speak to start this off with Nervous Nellie. Is she in the studio there?
Yes, she is. Mm-hmm. She is.
Okay.
So let me just go through this list with you one by one, and they're the things that have happened, and I would like your perspective and your opinion on what's real, what really matters, what doesn't.
All right. Father Christmas is standing by.
Okay, hang on just a second. I want it in two different categories. I want what's real and matters in geopolitical or in real terms, and then one politically. Okay, so something may not make a difference at all geopolitically, but politically it makes a lot of difference. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, let's start with the resignation of James Mattis. Last night, the president, or yesterday, he said we're pulling out of Syria. That is basically going to be an extermination order for the Kurds. And James Mattis was upset that he didn't know about it. According to his letter, there's some light between the two of them on how we treat our allies. He's very respected. Does it matter, Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, it matters, sure. And by the way, I was in the White House for an extensive period of time on Wednesday. So
we saw a picture of that.
Know that, and I had a pretty good inside view of a lot of things. So Mattis is a very successful defense secretary. I think he had enough of the chaos. That's a key word in this discussion today. CHAOS, chaos. And there is. So Mattis, very disciplined, 4-star Marine general. I think that he differed on policy with President Trump, but I think those differences could have been dealt with. But I don't think that Mattis wanted to be told, what was going to happen, and that was that. So I think that's why he left, and he was an excellent defense secretary. Disassembling ISIS, huge victory. I hope he writes a book about that and explains exactly how that happened. Very important. So we'll miss James Mattis. The country will.
Does it make our allies nervous?
No, because our allies don't really file into effective foreign policy for America. There's really nobody right now that's helping us, to the point that Tony Blair did with Britain in the Iraq War, that kind of a thing. Australia very loyal to us, but the Allies are basically looking for their own stuff, and I'm not really concerned about them.
Okay. When it comes to,
can we get an importance level, Bill? High, medium, or low?
High. Mattis is going to be hard to replace.
Okay. Let's go to Syria, pulling the troops out of Syria. Here's what Lindsey Graham said as a big supporter of Donald Trump.
If Obama had done this, we would be all over him as Republicans. We made a good record that the decision to withdraw from Iraq was not based on sound military advice, in spite of it. He did it himself, which he has every right to do, but he needs to own it. And I don't think General Trump is going to be any better than General Obama.
This is the BillO'Reilly.com Man of the Year.
Yep, Lindsey Graham. Absolutely.
Your thoughts on Syria?
Yeah, my view is 2,000 special forces in Syria were effective there in protecting many innocent people from harm. That's pretty much what their role was.
Mm-hmm.
So the president made it clear he doesn't want U.S. troops on foreign soil unless, it's a national security situation. This is not. I am not that upset or worried about 2,000 troops coming out of Syria.
Is Iran a national security concern?
Yes.
You've just handed the region.
No, Beck.
Yes, you did.
Just relax.
All right.
This is Nervous
We
Nelly.
can be back in there in 16 hours. We have bases around the area where American forces are stationed. We have air power that can hit that place very hard and very quick. So if Iran were to do something that was dangerous, we could very quickly affect that. Trump just didn't want these guys sitting there.
They're not.
So he's moving them around. We're not pulling out of the region.
As somebody who has helped move tens of thousands of Christians to safety, this is the most reckless thing I've ever seen a president do. Possibly only beaten by Obama.
All right. We have a little bit of a disagreement there. I think that if anybody started to slaughter Christians, that we would be right back in there very quickly.
So importance level would be low there, Bill? Or medium?
Moderate.
Okay.
Moderate because it's a ripple effect. It did have something to do with Mattis resigning. Mm-hmm. I think the Department of Defense is not happy with President Trump. That's not a good thing. So whereas I don't see it as a strategic move that's going to harm the country directly, the fact that it was done this way is not good for the USA.
So let me give mine as well.
Okay.
Mattis, I agree with Bill. High. Syria, couldn't disagree more with Bill.
You went high, right?
Very high. Mm-hmm. This should be interesting. Border and giving $5 billion to Mexico. He folded, and now he listened to his tribe, and he is trying to reverse that. Tell me your thoughts on the border and the $5 billion to Mexico.
All right, what's the $5 billion to Mexico?
$5 billion. What it was is we said we're going to give $10 billion, no border wall, and we're going to give $10 billion in aid.
Are you talking about giving them economic aid?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So there's a new president in Mexico, and Trump apparently has a pretty good relationship with him. And the NAFTA deal helps the United States economically. So he wants the guy to do us favors, the new president of Mexico. He wants him to do us favors. So he's basically backing away from the punitive aspect of U.S.-Mexico relations. Unbeknownst to the public, Mexico helped with this migrant caravan a lot. And that has not been out there. It's not been put out there. So very few of these caravan people got into the United States. Very few. And Mexico's paying for them to sit down there in Tijuana for the rest of their lives, I guess. So there's a lot of extenuating circumstances. Now, the bigger question is the PR debacle of the president waffling on the wall. And, that's a political thing. I would have said to the American people, I need 2 months to solidify this wall and get a marketing campaign so that you understand why this wall is absolutely necessary. So I'm going to extend the spending until February 8th. But if February 8th I don't get my wall, then the government's going to shut down forever because we're not going to do it. That's how I would have done it.
Me too. Because
of the stock market. And then I would have delayed it a little bit instead of just one day saying, all right, I'll accept no money for the wall. And then the next day after Ann Coulter ran around the White House on fire saying, oh, nope, I'm reversing, because that makes President Trump look weak.
So importance level, high, moderate, or low?
Very high.
Okay, hang on just a second.
Because of the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
The stock market is the big story.
Okay.
That's the big story.
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back. I want to hear about the stock market.
And I also want to know, is this a big story on the border because of political or actual effect to all of our lives, or a combination of both?
All right.
Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly. Bill, we have we have the border issue. Do you say it's very, very high because of politics? Rate them separately. Politics and geopolitical politics.
All right. So geopolitical is more important than politics. I'm not a real fan of doing anything for political reasons. So you've got a nation, Mexico, which is pretty much out of control. All right. So cartels run a lot of what happens in Mexico. And we know that from the trial of El Chapo going on right now in New York City. Everybody's bribed down there, and tons of narcotics come into the United States every year, tons. And what is it, 75,000 people dead in 18 from drug overdoses? And that's probably about half of the deaths, because they say they die of congestive heart failure, all of that stuff. So you got this narcotics just flooding into the country, changing neighborhoods, the expenses in the tens of billions of dollars to deal with these people. Just that alone, you need a wall. Why? Because it makes it a lot harder for cartels to get massive amounts of drugs in here. They have to funnel then everything into the ports of entry, which are getting much more sophisticated in finding the drugs hidden in the trucks and all of that. So just that alone, you say you've got to build this barrier. And then the people smuggling it makes it much more difficult for the coyotes, which are the nicknames of the people who smuggle the people in, charging the people, the poorest people in the world, about $3,000-$4,000 to do it. Makes it much more difficult for them to do that. So therefore, the wall is a worthy enterprise, should be built, and anybody who's against the wall, I have never heard a rational argument, not once. Oh, well, it's not a good PR, it's not good optics. You know what I mean? It's Christmas, so I'm not going to say it. On a political front, Donald Trump looked weak.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Let's go to the stock market. Worst December for stocks since 1931.
Right. If this continues, Donald Trump is never going to be reelected. That's number one headline. He has to have a robust economy going into the 2020 vote. And I mean a really good economy. So the stock market going down, even if people don't have stocks and bonds, ripples out because everybody's afraid. Everybody is the corporate chieftains. They're afraid. And anything could happen. A recession could happen. Their companies could not earn as much money, and therefore they'll be fired. The chieftains will be fired. Fear is driving that market down. Now, can it turn around if Trump makes a trade deal with China and the government shutdown thing gets solved somehow? Yeah, that could come back up. I'm not selling. I don't have a lot of stocks anyway because in my position in life, I'm more interested in stability than I am in growth. So the stock market is the story because every single American is going to be affected if the stock market continues to decline.
So importance very high on that one.
They don't get any higher than that.
I agree with him.
That's it.
I agree with him. That is the key to everything. If the economy falls apart, everything else is just a domino. The Russia letter. Well, let's get into that in a second. Let me go to bump stocks. The president has just created a new rule out of thin air that bump stocks need to be banned, and within, I think, 90 days or 4 months, you're going to be a felon if you own one.
You know, I'm not a gun person. I don't really understand a lot of the intricacies of that. My philosophy is that public safety is number one in America. If the people think that eliminating bump stocks is going to make it a safer country, okay, I'm for it. If that's a bunch of bull and it's just an optics thing, then I'm against it. But I'm not really the kind of guy who can give you an incisive analysis of all that gun stuff. I do believe in the Second Amendment. I believe that people have the right to defend themselves. I don't think they need a bazooka to do it. or a mortar to do it or live hand grenades in the garage, all right? But then you go down the list. If somebody lives in a rural area and they want to have an AK, I don't have a problem with that. But I think that everybody should be able to buy the guns in an orderly way, and the authorities should know who has the AK, all right? So that's really my overall view of it.
And that's a totally honest analysis. I appreciate that. I'm wondering, Bill, if you have a thought on how it happened, right? Like, would we be okay with Obama doing it through essentially a rule change or / executive order? There was no law passed.
No, but Obama did that 50,000 times, as everybody knows.
But did we like it?
All presidents do.
I know, but this is a constitutional piece, and we shouldn't accept that from Obama or Trump or anybody else. No.
Then somebody should raise the issue in a way that it could be voted upon.
I agree.
I'm for that, by the way.
Low priority, though, on that one, Bill?
Yeah, for me it is.
Okay.
All right. Back in just a second, more Bill O'Reilly. We get into Russia and Kavanaugh and so much more. Father Christmas in a minute.
It's the Glenn Beck program.
So I think the horrible, terrible, really very bad day,
No
whatever
good,
that
very
is.
bad day.
Yeah, I think that's continued. Mattis and his letter of resignation. This is not good. This is really, really not good. Mattis, in case you don't know, is our generation's Eisenhower and MacArthur and Patton without the crazy parts. This is not good. And quite honestly, we're right up on Christmas. I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if I want to handle it.
Well, we have to talk about it, obviously.
No, we do, but I'm not sure.
This is the Glenn Beck program.
There are times that I kind of wish, and Mattis, his resignation, there are times that I think, you know what, it might have been better if, I was working and, I would have stayed in music radio. I could have been happier. But then I realize I wasn't that good. And so I'd probably be working at that station that every market has. And I want you to know, DJs, I know who you are, and I know what you're going through. And if you're at one of those stations, our prayers are with you this holiday season.
Santa 109.9 FM, your home for the holidays, playing all of your favorite holiday music like that one. Back to playing your favorite work music mix. Well, we'll play all of your favorites from Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow and Elton John and Neil Diamond, and who could forget Michael Bolton. But now it's nothing but Christmas music, wall to wall, like this one from Kenny G on Santa 109.9. I think I'm going to kill myself. Hotline.
Chris.
Okay, man. You don't call me Chris. You know I'm not Chris.
Your name's Chris.
It is.
Are you on Santa 109.9?
It is for this time because you're making all of us take stupid names for Christmas.
Do you want Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer?
No.
That's what you'll get.
What, are you going to fire the morning guy? Isn't that his name?
No, I changed him to Mistletoe.
What do you want?
First of all, your mic was on.
What?
Your mic was on when you said you wanted to kill yourself.
I'm sorry, I'll turn the mic off.
That's minor. I just wanted to tell you about your last break for the Kenny G intro.
Yeah.
I I don't understand. You're talking about the G-Man, and there's no enthusiasm whatsoever.
For the G-Man?
Yeah, Kenny G.
How could you possibly be enthusiastic about the G? Kenny G does make me want to kill myself.
Well,
and I've had to play this since October 28th. We're playing every cut of Kenny G's album.
That's another thing, by the way. You said we're going to stop in mid-January?
Yeah.
Didn't you get the memo?
No.
April 15th.
We're playing Christmas music until April 15th?
Until tax day.
Why? Nobody wants to hear it. I think people actually would want to hear the Michael...
Did you know that our ratings go from a 0.3 to a 19.4 for 1 month?
Yeah, okay. What is it?
That.
Why are you calling
You need to get a little more enthusiasm. Think of a male Delilah. Okay.
A male Delilah? She's enthusiastic?
Don't think Delino. A male Delilah, okay? But then think of Delilah if she had married an Osmond. So you're really down, but you're really excited.
All right, my song is about
Santa.
that. Yeah.
1099.
All right.
Think of that. Santa.
Anything else I'm supposed to talk about?
Yeah, get jolly.
Get jolly.
Yes. Stop trying to be different. Remember, different's bad.